YouTube, it's Tone back with another one for you, and this one is continuation. This is actually the last video on this particular file. We're moving on to the next version of how to use a BOE and things like that too, and we'll run through different versions of ways to do the UCC1, the UCC3 security agreement addendum that goes in after you do your UCC1. You could probably do this shit without even doing that, but I would not recommend that because it doesn't fucking really make sense to me. But there is people that have hit me up and said that they do this without doing the UCC1. So can it be done? Probably. I wouldn't do it. So with that said, I'm also offering UCC1 and UCC3 filings as well. That's through my company, so you need to fill out a 56 fiduciary to assign my company the trustee in order to get these filed for you. And that'll put you in a position and also securitize all your private property and put that into a private trust. So then you'll have a private trust set up and you'll be officially ready to go ahead and start operating as a private banker at that point. If that's something that you're interested in, $300, email me. And you already know what it is. So let's get into this here. What do we got? So this is the notice of error. And so this is what you're gonna, so we already ran through, getting possession of the actual, what do you call it? Purchase order, right? You want to get the purchase order. Go ahead and get in contact with whatever bank is on there. You want to get in contact with the TTL department. That's going to be the Treasury Tax and Loan Department. That is the private side of the bank. So they're private contractors associated with the bank, but not necessarily attached to it because there's a public and private side to everything. So I guess they hire private contractors to get that done. I haven't personally done this, but I will be doing it shortly. Pretty sure it's going to go pretty flawless. I don't see why it wouldn't work. So let's get into this. So notice of error. This is gonna be if after you send your things off, if they went past the 15 days from when they're allocated. So you allocate them a set amount of time to get this done in, and so that's according to law. So they only have 15 days from the time that they receive it in order to get that process. So if they don't, for some reason within that time, do what the fuck that they're supposed to, you're gonna hit them with this. This is a notice of error. Right, and I mean, it can even go further than this too, and we'll talk about that at the end, but you're going to hit them with this, a notice of error. So the next page contains a sample notice of NOE. So that's an abbreviated version, an acronym for that. NOE cannot be sent with the original BOE and can only be sent out after the time has passed for ledgering. So you give them 15 days to get the ledgering done, which is basically them just signing it and processing your payment as a check, and that's how they're supposed to be getting it done. If they don't, for some reason, do that, then you want to get the notice of error going on. And, you want to notice the, who is it? Who do you want to notice? You want to notice the postmaster for sure. Get that done. And you're going to obviously put yourself into the Universal Postal Union when you send this out by putting the $1 stamp on it. And that's going to put you in a position to be able to go ahead and get remedy. If they pretend to never have received that, then that's mail fraud. And if they didn't send it back with a notice of defect, then that shit is theft too as well. It's all felonies, by the way. So the creditor sends you some sort of letter indicating that they cannot accept your BOE. The creditor sends you the next statement, but it does not contain your BOE payment, meaning that you sent it in, but they didn't apply that. They also didn't send it back with the notice of defect. That's the reason why they're not able to process it, okay? That shit is all fraud. They have to fucking process that. So you may need to use and customize the notice of error for a variety of circumstances, such as you get a letter from the creditor stating they can't process your discharging instrument. The creditor's statement you receive after sending the BOE does not reflect credit for your BOE. So these are reasons why you're going to be sending that if any of these things happen. So you may need to customize the sample letter in the following ways. Down on the bottom, it gives you different ways to go ahead and revise the next BOE that you'll be sending. Okay, so let's get into what do we do after that. Now we can go through different ways to get your remedy and make sure that they fucking do their job too as well. So it says you should send the notice of error using certified mail, or you may want to use the U.S. Postal Form 3817. I use 3665. It serves the same purpose. It basically means that they did, in fact, receive the mail. It pretty much, when you get the 3665 form filled out, they cannot. So basically, at that point, you're gonna have the postmaster as your actual witness because they stamp it and all that too. You don't necessarily need that, and but I will do it anyway, right? And whatever you send them as well is gonna be with a $1 stamp on it. Okay. So the advantage of using PS form 3817 is that it's less expensive than using certified mail. By using this form, the U.S. Postal Service is acting as a third-party witness that they will deliver the letter. 3665 form says that they did in fact already deliver the letter. So I'd say that that's even a better option. And so you print that out online and bring it in with you. So if the creditor argues that they never received it, they can take it up with the U.S. Postal Service. And that's what I'm talking about. Because then at that point, it's the military jurisdiction, and they'll be subject to a tribunal at that point. It ain't going to be, none of their friends can help them. We'll just put it like that. So type onto the form 3817 the words enclosed was notice of error and when it was dated. We also suggest that you have a friend mail the letter and give you a certificate of service to prove that it was an envelope, and you can use the sample certificate of service earlier in this file as a template. Because you do want to have a witness. You don't necessarily need one, because these people really don't have shit anyway. If they ended up in court, they really, it just is what it is. I mean, aside from the fact that they can pretend to never have fucking received it, you can give it to them right there in court and see what they want to say about that, right? So, notice of error and request for investigation. So the error resolution officer. So on here you're gonna have the date that you went ahead and mailed it out. A bonded bill of exchange hereinafter draft was sent to you via certified BOE number. This draft was in an amount sufficient to pay the full balance of my account. This payment was received in your office on the date that it was received, and that's going to be based on when you get either your green form back or when you get the confirmation that they did in fact already receive that. So on date 2, invoice received. I received another invoice that did not include the credit for the instrument mailed on, whatever your BOE number is. The latest statement includes a late fee and an additional finance charge. Since the draft should have settled the account in full, and you received the payment before the due date of whatever the date was on it, there should be no late fee or additional finance charges. This is my written notice of error under the Truth in Lending Act, right? And so you also have so many uniform commercial codes to just back you up too. It's fucking crazy also. So, UCC 3 also tender a payment. So they have obligations to tender the payment. If they don't and they refuse it, the debt is still discharged anyway. Doesn't even matter. So they can rub it on their chest, or they can fucking take it and actually get paid. Either way, the debt's discharged. It don't even matter what they want to do with that after. That's not your problem. So, if they don't want to be dickheads, then you can help them actually get their payment, or they could just not get nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine too. So I am requesting clarification on the following issues. Why was the payment of the dollar amount not posted on my account? Why was the late fee charged when the last payment was arrived by the due date? And why was additional interest of whatever they charged you charged when the last payment would have settled the account in full? Right, so you're putting them in a position now to have to answer to all of the facts of the case, and you're giving them an opportunity to rectify the situation. And at this point, you're going to see if they will or won't fucking do that. I mean, they're going to do it anyway, whether they want to or not. But so, as I understand the regulations, 12 CFR, I have the following rights. The statute gives the consumer the right to withhold a disputed amount, and collection action is prohibited until the matter is resolved. At this point, the entire amount of the most recent invoice is being disputed, the amount of the second invoice. Your credit card company is prohibited from issuing an adverse credit report to the credit reporting agency while this matter is in dispute. It is my understanding that your company has 30 days from the day you receive this notice to provide me with a written response. If you discover that an error has occurred, I will accept a statement that corrects the error listed above as your response. If you determine that no billing error has occurred, I shall expect a written explanation why you reached such a conclusion. It always has been my intent to resolve this matter and settle my account in full. I look forward to receiving the results of your investigation in a timely manner. Okay, so I think this is some pretty good information, but I'm gonna get into the next into the next file about the BOEs next. Also, I mean in the next video, because this right here is ending. So this is the last slide of this particular document here. So what we have here is a certificate of service. So on, what is it? It's going to be on the date that you sent it. So on XYZ, on behalf of your true name, I mailed to the creditor. This is going to be the company's name, the creditor's street, and the papers identified as bonded bill of exchange, the BOE number, letter of advice. Letter of advice is what we went through, I think, in the first or second video, and that went over how that they're supposed to process all of this documentation as a check and so forth, right? So then also the invoice was sent, the statement of account, which is going to be your payoff bill, or the purchase order, whatever it was, right? So and then the copy of certificate of service. By mailing them in a postage prepaid envelope addressed to the recipient named, bearing certified mail number for the true name, and obtaining a receipt from the post office clerk, my mailing location is, and I am over the age of 18 and not a party to the transaction regarding the papers I mailed. And so you can go ahead and send that as well. So that would be for, I mean, so I would do this with a notary, to be honest with you. Like that's what I would do personally, but you don't necessarily need one because you can act as the postmaster, notary, and all that by just using a $1 stamp and canceling that at a 45-degree angle. You are the judge, you are the postmaster, and the case is closed. They don't really have an option. You know what I'm saying? But they'll play otherwise if they think that you don't know that though. So, but you do now. So that's what I got for you for now. You know, we're gonna get into a couple other ones coming up soon too as well, maybe tomorrow or the following day. But for the most part, look, so let me just run back down briefly what it is that you do, right? So you got to get your UCC1 done. You got to get your UCC3 financing statement addendum, get that filed as well. I told you already that I offer that service for people. It's quick, the same day we can get that done for you. Filed online, and you get all your shit right there. So UCC1, UCC3. You go ahead and you go to a car company or a house or whatever you're trying to do, right? The bank, you want to make an acquisition, let them know that you're going to be making an acquisition and moving any items that you actually purchase, you're going to be putting into your private trust. So you're basically going to be transferring property from more than likely their trust and then into yours from whatever acquisition that you're going to be making, because car dealerships and, you know, banks, things like that, they'll keep their property inside a trust. So you're just doing a transfer, that's all. You're not making an acquisition to where you're personally liable. It's going right into your trust. So you want to do that. UCC1, UCC3. Go find what you want to make the acquisition on. Get the purchase order. Whatever bank is on there. Find the TTL department. Right. You're gonna send them the BOE, your bill of exchange, with all the shit that's inside of this video as well. Right. And if you need this file, email me. It's free. Then you're gonna send them this. You're gonna do that shit correctly, and you're gonna have everything done properly. And you're gonna send this to the TTL department after you call them and tell them that you have a special payment, a special deposit to be made. Okay, and you're gonna need to find a way to get in contact with them and send them that documentation. You're gonna send that to them via notary. Okay, and more than likely, I would imagine that everything's gonna just get done. I think within 15 days, but more than likely sooner than that. I've heard of people getting it done sooner than that. So, and it's really that simple. So if it doesn't make sense to you, it's because you haven't studied it enough. And if you think it's a fucking scam, it's probably because you're a fucking cop. Okay, motherfucker. So anyway, look, it is a game of chess. Stop playing chess with these clowns. That's what I got for you for now. Until we meet again.